For centuries, Venus has been both a fascination and a mystery. It is Earth's closest planetary neighbor, similar in size, mass, and composition. Some even call it Earth's twin. But while our world thrives with oceans, forests, and life, Venus is a scorching hellscape, wrapped in a thick, toxic atmosphere. Why did these two planets, born in the same region of space, take such different paths? Rocket fast facts about Venus. Venus is only slightly smaller than Earth, with a diameter of 12,104 kilometers. Earth's is 12,742 kilometers. It has an atmosphere 92 times thicker than Earth's, filled with carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid clouds. Its surface temperature is hot enough to melt lead, a staggering 475 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Unlike Earth, Venus rotates backward. A day on Venus is longer than its year. Venus could have been a second Earth, a paradise in the solar system. But something went terribly wrong. What happened? Could Venus have once supported life? And is there still a chance that microbial organisms exist in its toxic clouds today? Milky Way scientists believe Venus may hold clues to Earth's own future, a warning of what happens when greenhouse gases spiral out of control. Join us as we uncover the secrets of Venus, Earth's twin, or its complete opposite. For thousands of years, Venus has fascinated humanity. As one of the brightest objects in the sky, second only to the moon, it has inspired myths, legends, and scientific curiosity. But despite its beauty, Venus has always been a world shrouded in mystery. Keycap 1: Early Observations. Venus in Mythology and Science. Before telescopes, ancient civilizations saw Venus as a divine symbol. The Babylonians called it Ishtar, the goddess of love and war. The Greeks and Romans named it Aphrodite and Venus, believing it to be a celestial embodiment of beauty. Ancient Chinese and Mesoamerican cultures linked Venus to gods of chaos, balance, and time cycles. But the true mystery of Venus deepened in the 17th century when Galileo Galilei observed phases of Venus, proving it orbited the Sun and not Earth. Milky Way key discovery. Venus was confirmed as a planet, but what lay beneath its bright, glowing clouds? Keycap 2: The first scientific hypotheses. A lush paradise or a deadly hell. For centuries, astronomers debated Venus' true nature. Early theories, 18th to 19th century. Many scientists believed Venus had an ocean and a tropical climate, like a younger Earth. Some imagined a world covered in dense rainforests, hidden beneath its thick clouds. Fire the reality, 20th century. As telescopes improved, astronomers detected high levels of carbon dioxide in Venus' atmosphere. This led to the first suspicions that Venus might not be Earth-like at all. As technology advanced, we finally got closer than ever to uncovering the truth about Venus. Keycap 3: The Space Age. First missions to Venus. The 20th century brought the first robotic missions to Venus. Rocket Soviet Union's Venera program, 1960s to 1980s. Venera 7, 1970, became the first spacecraft to land on Venus, surviving for just 23 minutes before being destroyed by the planet's extreme heat and pressure. Venera 9, 1975, sent the first ever photos from Venus' surface, revealing a rocky, desolate landscape under a thick yellow sky. Venera 13, 1982, lasted 127 minutes before being crushed by the 92 atmosphere pressure, similar to being 1 kilometer underwater on Earth. Red circle key findings for Venera. Venus clouds were not made of water, but of sulfuric acid. The surface was hot enough to melt lead. The atmosphere was so thick and crushing that no human could ever survive there without extreme protection. Globe showing Europe, Africa, this shattered the dream of Venus as a second Earth. Instead, we found the closest thing to hell in our solar system. Keycap 4: NASA's Mariner and Magellan, mapping the inferno. Globe showing America's Mariner 2, 1962, the first probe to confirm that Venus was a scorching, lifeless world. Satellite Magellan, 1990s used radar to map 98% of Venus' surface, revealing massive volcanoes, lava plains, and mysterious land formations. Keycap 5. The big question. Could Venus have been habitable in the past? As data accumulated, scientists began to ask, did Venus ever have oceans? What caused it to transform into a hellish wasteland? Could Venus still have microbial life, hidden in its upper atmosphere? Waterwave recent studies suggest that Venus may have had liquid water for up to 2 billion years, long enough for life to evolve. But something went wrong. Venus became the victim of a runaway greenhouse effect, turning it into the hottest planet in the solar system. Summary of the historical background section. Heavy checkmark. Ancient civilizations viewed Venus as a goddess of love and beauty. Heavy checkmark. Early astronomers believed Venus might be covered in oceans and rainforests. Heavy checkmark. Soviet and NASA missions revealed the shocking truth. Venus is a hellish world of extreme heat, toxic clouds, and crushing pressure. Heavy checkmark. Despite this, scientists now believe Venus may have once had water and possibly conditions for life. If hell had a planet, it would be Venus. Beneath its thick, toxic clouds lies the most extreme environment in our solar system. A world where temperatures melt metal, the air is poisonous, and the pressure would crush a submarine. But what exactly makes Venus so deadly? And could anything survive here? Keycap 1. The Venusian atmosphere, a death trap of toxic clouds. Venus' atmosphere is a dense, choking mass of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid. It is 92 times thicker than Earth's atmosphere, making it feel like being submerged 1 kilometer underwater. Skull and crossbones. The air is unbreathable. 96% carbon dioxide, a planet-wide greenhouse gas trap. Clouds of sulfuric acid, rain that never reaches the surface due to extreme heat. Lightning storms, more frequent and powerful than those on Earth. Fire. Extreme temperatures. The surface reaches 475 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than Mercury, even though Venus is farther from the sun. Lead, zinc, and tin would melt instantly on Venus' surface, dashing away the greenhouse effect gone wrong. Venus' thick clouds trap heat, preventing any cooling. This is what scientists call a runaway greenhouse effect, the ultimate consequence of uncontrolled climate change. Venus is a warning, a vision of what could happen to Earth if greenhouse gases spiral out of control. Keycap 2. The surface of Venus, a land of fire and lava. If you could stand on Venus, you wouldn't last more than a few seconds. Rocket. Key surface features of Venus. Volcanoes. Venus has over 1,600 known volcanoes, more than any planet in the solar system. Massive lava plains. Most of Venus' surface is covered in hardened lava, suggesting intense volcanic activity in the past. Mysterious pancake domes, strange circular formations, thought to be made of highly viscous lava. No tectonic plates. Unlike Earth, Venus does not have plate tectonics. Instead, heat builds up under the surface, leading to massive planet-wide eruptions. Volcano. Could Venus still be active? Recent studies suggest Venus may still have active volcanoes today. In 2023, scientists analyzing old Magellan mission data found signs that a volcano may have erupted in the last 30 years. If Venus is still erupting, it means the planet is not entirely geologically dead. Could these volcanoes still be shaping the surface of Venus today? Keycap 3. The crushing pressure of Venus. Standing on Venus would feel like standing at the bottom of Earth's ocean, under 900 meters of water. The pressure is 92 times greater than Earth's at sea level. Red circle. What happens to objects on Venus? The Soviet Venera landers only survived for minutes to hours before being destroyed. If a human stood on Venus without protection, they would be crushed instantly. Skull survival is impossible without extreme technology. This is why landing on Venus is one of the greatest challenges in space exploration. Keycap 4. The winds of Venus, a super-rotating atmosphere. Tornado. Venus has the fastest winds of any planet in the solar system. Winds in the upper atmosphere reach 360 kilometers per hour, 224 miles per hour, strong enough to circle the planet in just 4 days. These hurricane-force winds create massive storms and swirling cloud formations visible from space. Satellite, a different rotation. Venus rotates in the opposite direction of most planets. A Venusian day lasts longer than a Venusian year. One day on Venus is 243 Earth days, while 1 year is 225 Earth days. A planet where the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. A true alien world. Keycap 5. Could anything survive in Venus' atmosphere? Despite Venus' inhospitable surface, scientists believe life could exist in its clouds. Possible microbial life in Venus' atmosphere? In 2020, researchers detected phosphine gas in Venus' atmosphere, a chemical often linked to biological activity on Earth. Some scientists believe that microbial life could exist in the upper atmosphere, where temperatures are lower, around 30 to 50 degrees Celsius, 86 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Cloud, is Venus' atmosphere the last refuge for life? If life exists there, it would be completely different from anything on Earth, adapted to a sulfuric acid-rich environment. Future missions are planned to send balloon probes to sample Venus clouds for signs of life. Could life still cling to existence in the most unlikely place in our solar system? Summary of Venus extreme conditions. Heavy checkmark, a thick, toxic atmosphere traps heat, making Venus the hottest planet in the solar system. Heavy checkmark, its surface is covered in volcanic plains, and recent studies suggest Venus may still have active volcanoes. Heavy checkmark, the crushing pressure is 92 times that of Earth, enough to destroy most spacecraft. Heavy checkmark, its winds are the fastest in the solar system, circling the planet in just 4 days. Heavy checkmark, despite its hellish environment, some scientists believe microbial life could exist in Venus clouds. For decades, Venus was overlooked in favor of Mars. While rovers explored the Martian surface, Venus remained an untouchable mystery, too dangerous, too extreme. But now, scientists are turning their attention back to Earth's fiery twin. New missions are being planned, and they might finally answer one of the biggest questions. Could Venus have been habitable? And could something still be alive in its clouds today? Keycap 1. NASA's Da Vinci Plus, a descent into Venus' hellish atmosphere. Globe showing Europe-Africa launch date, 2031. Rocket mission type, atmospheric probe. Satellite, what it will do. The Da Vinci Plus, deep atmosphere Venus investigation of noble gases, chemistry, and imaging plus. Mission will send a descent probe into Venus' atmosphere. As it falls through 100 kilometers, 62 miles, of clouds, it will measure temperature, pressure, and gas composition. It will take the first ever high-resolution images of Venus' surface from below the clouds. Microscope, what scientists hope to learn. Was Venus once covered in oceans? How did Venus' runaway greenhouse effect begin? Could Venus still have traces of past microbial life? Glowing star, if successful. Da Vinci Plus will give us the first real look at Venus' surface since the Soviet Venera missions of the 1980s. This will be our first chance to truly see Venus up close in over 40 years. Keycap 2. Veritas, mapping Venus in unprecedented detail. Globe showing Europe-Africa launch date, 2031. Rocket mission type, orbiter. Satellite, what it will do. Veritas, Venus emissivity, radio science, in SAR, topography, and spectroscopy, will orbit Venus, using radar to map the entire planet in extreme detail. It will create the most accurate 3D map of Venus ever made, revealing its mountains, valleys, and potential active volcanoes. Microscope, what scientists hope to learn. Is Venus still volcanically active today? How do Venus landforms compare to Earth's? Could Venus have underground reservoirs of water? For the first time, we will see Venus as if its clouds didn't exist. Keycap 3. Europe and India join the Venus race. Satellite, ESA's Envision 2030s. The European Space Agency, ESA, is sending Envision, an orbiter similar to Veritas. It will focus on atmospheric composition and surface geology, looking for signs of recent volcanic activity. India's Chakrayan-1, 2028 to 2030. India's ISRO is planning Chakrayan-1, an orbiter that will study Venus' atmosphere and climate dynamics. It will investigate why Venus' greenhouse effect spiraled out of control, offering lessons for Earth's climate change research. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Venus is no longer being ignored. The world's space agencies are racing to unlock its secrets. Keycap 4 Private Space Exploration. Could humans ever visit Venus? Man astronaut NASA's concept of a floating colony, HAVOC. Scientists have proposed HAVOC, high-altitude Venus operational concept, a floating city in Venus' upper atmosphere, where temperatures and pressure are Earth-like. Astronauts could live in giant airships, studying Venus from above its toxic clouds. Cityscape at Dusk, a futuristic Venus cloud city? Some scientists believe Venus' upper atmosphere could support a long-term human presence, even before Mars. Future explorers could build floating research stations, suspended high above Venus' deadly surface. Could humans one day call the skies of Venus home? Summary of upcoming Venus missions. Heavy checkmark Da Vinci Plus will send the first descent probe in decades, giving us a new view of Venus' atmosphere and surface. Heavy checkmark Veritas and Envision will create the most detailed maps of Venus in history, searching for active volcanoes. Heavy checkmark India's Chakrayan-1 will study Venus' runaway greenhouse effect, helping us understand climate change. Heavy checkmark HAVOC and floating research stations could allow future human exploration of Venus' upper atmosphere. Two planets born side by side, Earth and Venus, twins in the vastness of space. But while one became a cradle for life, the other became a fiery wasteland. Why did their fates diverge so drastically? Keycap 1 Venus versus Earth, a story of diverging paths. Blue Circle Earth, a planet where oceans, forests, and life flourish. A balanced atmosphere with just the right amount of greenhouse gases. A stable magnetic field that protects the planet from solar radiation. Feu Venu, a runaway greenhouse effect turned it into the hottest planet in the solar system. Its thick atmosphere traps heat, making it impossible for water to exist. Without a magnetic field, solar winds stripped away any potential for habitability. Venus is what Earth could have been, or what it might become in the distant future. Keycap 2 What Venus teaches us about climate change. Microscope scientists study Venus as a warning for Earth's future. Billions of years ago, Venus may have had oceans and a mild climate. As volcanic activity released massive amounts of carbon dioxide, the atmosphere became thicker. Eventually, a runaway greenhouse effect trapped heat, boiling away the oceans and turning Venus into an unlivable hell. Globe showing Europe, Africa. Could Earth suffer the same fate? Rising CO2 levels on Earth are increasing global temperatures. Studying Venus helps scientists understand how greenhouse gases affect planetary climates. If climate change spirals out of control, could Earth slowly transform into another Venus? Venus is a warning, an example of what happens when a planet loses control of its climate. Keycap 3 Could Venus have once hosted life? Microbe, if Venus had water for billions of years, could life have existed there? Microbial life could have thrived in its ancient oceans. If life once existed, did it go extinct, or could it have adapted to Venus' atmosphere? Some scientists believe microbes may still survive in the upper clouds, where conditions are more Earth-like. Glowing star upcoming missions like Da Vinci Plus and Veritas could finally answer this question. If we find life on Venus, it will change everything we know about our place in the universe. Final thoughts. The mystery of Venus continues. Heavy checkmark Venus and Earth started out as twin planets, but their destinies took opposite paths. Heavy checkmark Venus serves as a warning about climate change and the power of greenhouse gases. Heavy checkmark despite its extreme conditions, scientists still wonder if Venus once had life. or if something survives in its clouds today. Heavy checkmark future missions will bring us closer to understanding Earth's mysterious sister planet. Rocket, the secrets of Venus are still waiting to be discovered. The question is, are we ready to uncover them? Venus, our cosmic twin, yet so vastly different. A world that could have been like Earth, but was transformed into a fiery wasteland. For centuries, it remained a mystery, a planet so hostile that no lander has survived for more than a few hours. But now, we are finally ready to return. Keycap 1, the next era of Venus exploration. Rocket with new missions on the horizon. We may soon uncover Venus' deepest secrets. Could have been habitable in the past? Is Venus still geologically active? Could life exist in its clouds today? Globe showing Europe, Africa, and most importantly, what can Venus teach us about the future of Earth? Keycap 2, why Venus matters more than ever. Globe showing America's Venus is a time capsule, a planet that shows us the extremes of climate change. Understanding Venus helps us understand the delicate balance that makes Earth habitable. Studying its runaway greenhouse effect could help us prevent a similar fate here on Earth. Man astronaut, and maybe one day, we will find a way to explore Venus in person. Could we build floating cities above the clouds? Could Venus teach us how to terraform planets? Scene, a futuristic concept of a floating research station drifting through Venus' upper atmosphere. Astronauts inside observing the planet below. Keycap 3, the final question. What else is out there? Milky Way Venus was once a world of possibilities. Could other planets, even in distant solar systems, be going through the same transformation? Telescope as we study Venus. We may also be learning about countless exoplanets, some becoming Earth-like, others becoming uninhabitable. Venus may be Earth's twin, but across the universe, how many more lost worlds exist? And how many still have a chance to thrive? Final message to the viewer. Heavy checkmark, Venus and Earth started out alike, but fate turned them into opposites. Heavy checkmark, by studying Venus, we are not only uncovering its past, but protecting Earth's future. Heavy checkmark, new missions are about to unlock Venus' greatest mysteries. The golden planet will no longer be ignored. Rocket, the secrets of Venus are waiting. Are we ready to uncover them?